Lieutenant Nathan Hale stood stiffly in the royal hall of the Archelonian starship Alaris. His Earth-made uniform felt tight around the collar, and the air smelled faintly of spice and ozone. Around him, tall and graceful alien beings moved with perfect posture, their golden skin glowing faintly under the soft lights. These were the Archelonians, one of the most advanced and powerful species in the Galactic Council. Nathan was Earth's youngest diplomatic attach. He had trained for 2 years for this moment, yet he couldn't stop feeling like a tourist in a museum. He wasn't supposed to talk unless spoken to. He wasn't supposed to eat until everyone else had finished. Above all, he wasn't supposed to touch anything or anyone. The Archelonian culture was built on rituals. Every movement, every word had weight. One wrong step could offend an entire empire, Nathan had been told. Again and again, blend in, observe, do not try to be clever. So of course, that's exactly what he did not do. The royal dinner was long and quiet. Instead of talking, the Archelonians communicated through short, melodic tones created by vocal cords humans didn't have. A translator drone floated near, Nathan whispering meanings into his ear, but it only translated the basics. Most of the time, Nathan just sat quietly, hands in his lap, smiling politely. Then he saw her at the far end of the table. Sitting alone was Princess Sarixa, the only daughter of the Archelonian Empress. She was young by Archelonian standards. Maybe the human equivalent of 20. Her eyes were a shimmering mix of violet and blue. She wore a silver gown that looked like liquid metal. But what caught Nathan's attention wasn't her beauty, it was her sadness. While others around her moved in elegant rhythm, Sarixa sat still. No one spoke to her. No one looked at her. She stared at her plate of glowing fruit, untouched. Her fingers tapped lightly against the table, in a rhythm that didn't match the music in the room. She looked bored. Lonely even, Nathan's hand slipped into his pocket. He felt the small object he always carried with him, a tiny, old-fashioned Earth music box. It was his sister's. She had given it to him before he left Earth. For luck, she had said. Without thinking, Nathan stood up. He walked around the edge of the table, ignoring the shocked looks from the other diplomats and the alarms going. Off in his mind, he approached Sarixa. The guards stiffened. A few even raised strange-looking weapons. But Sarixa looked up at him, her eyes wide with curiosity. Nathan bowed slightly, not too deep, trying to show respect but not submission. I know this might be against protocol, he said, holding out the music box. But I thought you might like this. Sarixa blinked. Slowly, she reached out her hand. Her fingers brushed against Nathan's as she took the music box. She looked at it closely, turning it over, then gently opened the lid. A soft melody began to play, a simple human lullaby. The kind mothers on Earth had sung to their children for generations. Sarixa froze. Her eyes widened, her lips trembled. She pressed the box to her chest, and a small, shimmering tear rolled down her cheek. The entire room went silent. The guards lowered their weapons, unsure of what to do. The translator drone buzzed nervously. Then Sarixa stood. She looked at Nathan. And in a voice both musical and clear, she said, "You remembered." Nathan frowned. What? But before she could answer, the Empress herself stood. The Empress was tall and regal, with skin like polished gold and eyes that shone like twin stars. She stepped forward, her face unreadable. "Lieutenant Hale," she said through the translator drone, "you have made a great disturbance." Nathan swallowed hard. I didn't mean any disrespect, Your Majesty. It was just a gift. A gift, the Empress repeated. From a human to a royal. Sarixa spoke again. This time the translator struggled to keep up, but the meaning was clear. It is not just a gift. It is a memory, a piece of something we lost. The Empress looked at her daughter, truly looking at her for the first time. There was a long silence. Then the Empress said, "You will explain this in private." Later, Nathan sat in a small glass room aboard the Alaris. A guard stood outside the door, but no one had arrested him yet. That was probably a good sign. He paced back and forth, heart pounding. Stupid, he muttered. I gave an alien princess a music box. What was I thinking? The door opened. Syrexa entered holding the music box in her hands. You risked much, she said softly. Nathan shrugged. You looked sad. I just ... wanted to help. She smiled. Not the polite smile of a princess, but something real. This song. My mother used to hum it to me. Before she became empress? Before she forgot how to feel. Nathan blinked. How is that possible? This is an Earth song. That is the question, isn't it? She said, eyes sparkling. Our history speaks of a melody lost in time, a forbidden tune. One that reminded us of emotions too powerful to control. So we buried it. But I remembered. Somewhere inside, I remembered. Nathan stared at the small music box in her hands. Maybe our worlds aren't so different after all. Syrexa stepped closer. Lieutenant Hale, under our Colonian law, you have offered a royal gift of memory. That act cannot be undone. What does that mean? She gave him a playful smile. It means you are now under my personal protection. You belong to the royal household. Nathan blinked. What now? You gave me a gift, she said. Now, I give you something greater. She extended her hand, not out of duty, not for show, but as a friend. Nathan Hale woke up the next morning in a room that didn't feel like his own. The walls were soft and glowing, breathing with a faint pulse like a living thing. The bed floated slightly off the ground. Calming scent filled the air. Something between roses and electricity. He wasn't in his Earth-issued sleeping quarters anymore. He was in the royal guest chambers of the Alaris. And according to the Arcolonian guards outside, is now under the protection of Princess Syrexa. Nathan sat up, still confused. What the hell did I do? He muttered. A door opened silently and a short Arcolonian entered. He wore long silver robes and a nervous look. I am Diplomat Trell, the man said. I have been sent to explain the consequences of your actions. Nathan stood, brushing his uniform. Consequences? Trell sighed. Giving a royal a personal gift is not just unusual, it is historic. It activates ancient law. The law of bonded memory. Nathan frowned. Lied. What does that mean exactly? You have offered a piece of your emotional heritage to a royal? She accepted. This is no longer a small act. It is a symbolic union. You are now linked to her until the gift is returned, which she clearly does not intend to do. Nathan blinked. She can't just give it back? Trell shook his head. Not without causing great dishonor. Her public reaction, her words, her choice to protect you, they were seen by many. The Royal Council is ... concerned. Nathan rubbed his forehead. So now I'm ... what? A prisoner? No, Trell said. You are now a permanent diplomatic guest of the Arcolonian crown. You cannot be expelled, harmed, or ignored. You must be treated with full respect as if you were a royal consort. Nathan nearly tripped over his own feet. Consort. I barely know her. Trell's eyes sparkled with a strange amusement. Yet she knows you now, and that changes everything. Meanwhile, in the royal garden chamber, Princess Syrexa stood alone. She held the music box gently, watching the metal petals turn as the lullaby played. The sound made her heart ache in a good way. For most of her life, Syrexa had followed rules. She had studied logic, history, space law, and 10 languages. But no one had ever taught her how to feel until that earthling Nathan Hale gave her something that unlocked a memory buried deep in her soul. Her mother, Empress, had once sung that melody when Syrexa was very young. It had been a bedtime song. Then one day the Empress stopped singing. She had changed. All our Colonians did when they reached power. Emotions were seen as dangerous. Music was considered a tool of chaos. But now, because of a simple gift, Syrexa remembered the warmth of being held, the comfort of a voice in the dark. She would not let that memory fade again. The Empress was not pleased. Inside the High Council chamber, A dozen Archelonian nobles stood around a large table made of living crystal. Holograms floated above them, showing images of Nathan giving the music box to the princess. Audio of the lullaby played softly in the background. "This act is a threat," said High Counselor Vryn. "If humans can affect our royalty with such ease, what next? Poetry, art, rebellion." The Empress did not speak for a long time. Her golden eyes were fixed on the image of her daughter smiling, a real smile, not the cold, trained one. Finally, she said, "Let the humans stay." Gasps filled the chamber, but Empress Vryn cried, "What of tradition?" "The law is clear," she said calmly. "He gave a gift. She accepted. We will not break our own code." Vryn looked furious, but he bowed. "As you command." The Empress turned to her assistant. "Bring Syrexa to me. I must speak with my daughter, alone." That evening, Nathan was allowed to walk freely around the observation garden. A small drone followed him, recording everything for safety. He didn't mind. At least it was better than house arrest. He looked up at the stars through the clear ceiling above. The view was beautiful. Distant suns shimmered like jewels in a black sea. He was deep in thought when Syrexa appeared beside him. She wore a simple silver robe now, without jewels or crowns. Her expression was soft. "Hello, Nathan," he smiled. "Hey, princess." Tilted her head. "Call me Syrexa." He nodded. "All right, Syrexa." They walked in silence for a few moments. Then Nathan said, "So, this gift thing. Did I really cause that much trouble?" "Yes," she said honestly. "But also, you reminded me of something I thought was gone forever. I just wanted to cheer you up. You did." She paused, looking at the stars. "We Archelonians once loved music, before logic took control, before we became afraid of feelings." "Why afraid?" Nathan asked. "Because emotions can lead to war or rebellion, or dreams that don't fit inside boxes. And for a long time, our leaders believed control was safer than chaos." Nathan chuckled. "We humans are the opposite. We argue, fight, cry, laugh, usually all in one day." She smiled. "That is why your people are dangerous and beautiful." Looked at her. "What happens now?" Syrexa turned to him, serious. "I want to learn more. About Earth, about your songs, your memories, your chaos. I think our people need it." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "You mean, like a cultural exchange?" She nodded, but not official. "Not through diplomats, through us. You and me." Nathan wasn't sure if that excited or terrified him. "Okay, where do we start?" Syrexa opened the music box again. The lullaby played. "Start with this," she said. "Tell me the story behind this song." Nathan smiled. "It's called Starlight Sleep. It's an old lullaby from Earth. My sister used to play it when I couldn't sleep. She said it made the nightmares stay away." Syrexa sat beside him, listening. Her eyes softened. This song crossed the stars, she whispered, and it woke me up. Back in the council chamber, Counselor Vryn prepared a message to a secret network. "To Silent Wing, the princess is compromised. The human must be removed. Activate Protocol Veil," he pressed. "Send." The next few days on the Archelonian royal ship Elaris were strangely peaceful for Nathan Hale. Princess Syrexa visited him daily. They talked about Earth, human history, old music, and books. She was curious about everything: how humans loved, how they dreamed, how they failed and tried again. In return, Nathan learned about Archelian logic systems, star navigation, and their ancient traditions. But even in this calm, Nathan felt something was wrong. He noticed guards watching him more closely. His food was always late now. His access to the ship's communication system was under review. Even his translator drone sometimes gave strange pauses, like it was listening more than translating. And then one day, Syrexa didn't come. Nathan waited for hours in the observation garden. He walked back and forth, checking the time, looking at the stars. No sign of her. Finally, he asked a passing officer, "Where's the princess?" "She didn't cancel our meeting," The officer bowed stiffly. Princess Syrexa is unavailable. Is she okay? Nathan asked quickly. The officer didn't answer. He just walked away. Now Nathan was worried. Syrexa wasn't okay. She was locked in a private chamber under royal security watch. The Empress hadn't ordered it, but someone else had used emergency council authority. Syrexa paced the room furious. A glowing screen showed a list of restricted actions. She could not leave the chamber. She could not speak to outsiders. She could not activate communication panels, all because she had spent too much time with a human. She slammed her fist against the wall. The music box was still in her pocket, safe, but even its melody couldn't calm her now. Who was behind this? At the same time, Nathan's situation changed. Without warning, he was moved to a smaller guest room. His windows no longer showed the stars, only dull metal. A new translator drone replaced the old one, and it never responded when he asked questions. He knew something was happening. Late that night, he carefully unscrewed the bottom of the music box, a trick his sister taught him. Inside, he had hidden a microdata chip, a backup communicator. He activated it. Command. Is it Lieutenant Hale? Are you receiving me? Static. He tried again, changing frequencies. Still nothing, damn it, he whispered. They've blocked me completely. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then a message flashed across the room's display wall. Do not trust the Royal Council. Meet me at Module 017 Beta. No drones. It disappeared as quickly as it came. Nathan didn't know who sent it, but it was his only chance. Late at night, Nathan slipped out of his room. He wore a plain robe, just like the crew, and kept his head down. The ship was huge, a floating city in space. But he had memorized parts of the map. He moved carefully through empty halls until he reached Module 17, Beta, a storage wing near the ship's ancient archive chamber. Inside, it was dark and cold. Old lights buzzed overhead. Dust floated in the air. Hello? He whispered. A figure stepped out from the shadows. It was Syrexa. Nathan, she said, rushing forward. You made it. He stared. You sent the message. She nodded. I hacked the internal network. It's not easy. Someone in the council is trying to separate us. Why? Because of what your gift triggered, she said. Come with me. I need to show you something. They walked deeper into the archive chamber. Huge glowing tablets lined the walls, full of symbols and star maps. At the far end, behind a security shield, sat a strange object. It was a metal probe, small, old, and Earth-like. This, Syrexa said, was found floating near our home system 200 years ago. It played music, a human melody. Nathan froze. You're saying humans? Visited your system before? Not humans, but something close. Our records call them the First Echo, a lost race that disappeared long ago. Some believe they visited. Many young civilizations planting songs, dreams, emotions. Nathan walked slowly toward the probe. He pressed a button. It played the same lullaby from the music box. Exactly the same. Your music box didn't just make me emotional, Syrexa said softly. It proved that the connection between our worlds is much older than we thought. Nathan turned, but someone doesn't want that truth to come out. She nodded. There's a secret faction in the council. They call themselves the Silent Wing. They believe emotions are a disease. That the First Echo made a mistake by spreading feelings across the stars, and they want to stop us. Yes, you and I, we're a threat to their silence. The door slammed shut, red lights flashed, an alarm rang, unauthorized entry detected. Royal security deployed. Syrexa grabbed Nathan's hand. This way they ran down a side passage. Behind them, armored guards chased after, shouting orders. The hallway twisted and turned, lined with broken machines and ancient artifacts. They ducked under a falling beam, slid through a narrow vent, and landed in a dusty maintenance hall. Syrexa pulled a glowing crystal from her robe and placed it into a slot on the wall. A hidden door opened. Inside was a small shuttle, sleek, silent, and fast. Where did you get this? Nathan asked, out of breath. I'm still a princess, she said with a grin. I have secrets too. The shuttle shot out of the Alaris quietly using stealth mode. No one noticed. Siraxa set the course for Earth's Luna base, a neutral research. Stationed on the moon, Nathan sat beside her in the small cockpit. He looked at her, amazed. You really planned all this? I had a feeling we'd need an escape plan, she said. They flew in silence for a moment. Then Nathan said, So what? Now what are we trying to do? Siraxa looked at him. We find proof, she said. We show the galaxy that feelings aren't a threat. That the first echo didn't divide us by accident, they connected us. Your gift started something, we finish it. Nathan nodded. I'm with you. Deep in space, the silent wing had already detected their escape. On a hidden moon. Cloaked in shadows, a group of robed figures stood before a large machine. The signal has activated, one said. Then we awaken the architects, another replied. Let them clean the infection once. More the machine, emmed, and far beyond, in the dark edge of the galaxy, something ancient stirred. The stolen shuttle moved silently through the dark space between stars inside. Nathan Hale sat at the co-pilot's seat, watching the stars blur as they flew faster than light. Princess Siraxa was focused on the navigation controls, her face calm but serious. So, Nathan said, breaking the silence, you're wanted by your own people, and I'm basically a space criminal. Siraxa gave a small smile. We're not criminals. We're truth seekers. That's what all criminals say. She laughed softly. It was a real laugh, not the royal, controlled kind. Nathan liked hearing it, but their moment of peace didn't last long. An alert flashed on the screen. Warning, unidentified energy field ahead. Siraxa frowned. That shouldn't be here. There's nothing on the map. The ship shook slightly as they passed through a glowing ripple in space. Then everything changed. The stars outside vanished. The ship wasn't moving anymore, but the controls said it was. Nathan looked out the window. Where are we? Siraxa slowly stood up, I think. We've entered an echo field. The ship's systems flickered. A soft hum filled the air, like distant music. On the front screen, an image appeared. Not a person, not a place, but a memory. Nathan saw a little girl, maybe 6 years old, running through a garden on Earth, laughing. He gasped. That's me. That's my sister. That's when she was still alive. Siraxa looked shocked. It's showing your memory. Then the image changed. Now it showed Siraxa, a younger version of herself, sitting in her mother's lap, while a gentle melody played. The same melody from Nathan's music box. Tears filled her eyes. That's my real mother. Before, she changed. They stood in silence, watching their pasts. The ship wasn't broken. It was caught in a memory loop, created by the first echo. Why is it showing us this? Nathan asked. Siraxa walked to the center of the ship and placed her hand on the floor. The echo field is reacting to the bond between us. The gift, the memory, it's testing us. Testing us for what? Suddenly a voice filled the ship. Not human, not Archelonian, something older. Are you worthy to carry the song forward? Nathan and Siraxa looked at each other, then Siraxa said boldly, Yes, we seek the truth. We seek connection. The voice responded, then witnessed the cost of silence. The screen changed again. This time they saw planets burning, civilizations falling. A war in the stars, beautiful ships shattered, moons cracked in half, entire species erased, and in the middle of it all stood tall, glowing beings, silent, cold, unforgiving. The architect Siraxa whispered, These must be the ones the silent wing worships. The voice continued, Long ago, we gave the gift of emotion to many worlds, but some feared it. They created the architects to destroy what they did not understand. Nathan clenched his fists, so they wiped out anyone who felt too much. Yes, and now the architects sleep. But your bond has awakened their signal. Again, the silent wing has called them. Siraxa turned pale, and we must stop them before they reach our galaxy. The voice paused. To stop them, you must unite what was divided. The song, the memory, the truth must be shared. Only when many feel together can the architects be silenced. The ship shook again. The stars reappeared. They were free of the echo field. Nathan breathed hard. "What just happened?" Xaraxa answered. "We were given a mission. We must spread the memory, share the melody, before it's too late." They reached Luna Base 2 days later. It was a small research station on Earth's moon, neutral territory, where humans and aliens could meet without war. Nathan's old commander, Admiral Grant, met them at the landing pad. He looked tired but surprised to see Nathan alive. "Hail," Grant said, shaking his hand. "When we lost contact, we thought you were dead. And now you return with a royal princess." Nathan smiled. "Long story." Scirexa stepped forward. "Admiral, we need your help. Galactic threat is rising. The architects are awakening." Grant raised an eyebrow. "That's a myth." Nathan quickly pulled out the backup communicator and played the message they'd recorded inside the echo field. Grant listened in silence. When it ended, he looked serious. "I don't know what this is, but I believe you believe it." "So what do you need from us?" Scirexa replied. "A broadcast, not a secret message. A public one. We must share the melody, the gift, the story, to all known systems. If enough people hear it, ... The architects may lose power?" Grant nodded slowly. "That will start a war," Nathan added. "If we do nothing, the war will be worse." Grant looked at both of them, then turned to his officers. "Prepare a full-spectrum signal. We're sending the sound of memory across the stars." Meanwhile, deep in space, the Silent Wing felt the change. Inside their shadow moon, their leader, known only as the Voice of Order, stood before a crowd of robed followers. "They dare awaken the chaos," the voice said. They spread emotion like wildfire. A loyalist stepped forward. "The architects have heard the call. They're already moving." The voice nodded. "Then we must hurry. We will crush the princess, silence the human, and remind the galaxy of what peace through control truly means." Behind him, the architect's giant, glowing machines began to rise. They were shaped like angels, but their eyes held no soul. Back on Luna Base, the signal went out. Every satellite, beacon, and relay station lit up across planets. Ships and stations, humans, Arcolonians, and other species heard the same sound. The gentle melody of the music box, and with it, a message. "We are not enemies. We are the same. We feel. We love. Remember. Let the song of connection defeat the silence of fear." Some laughed, some cried, some didn't understand, but many listened. Scirexa stood by Nathan as the transmission ended. "Do you think it worked?" she asked. Nathan looked at her, calm and hopeful. "I think." Galaxy just took its first deep breath. But far away, the architects were already coming. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. The sky above Earth's moon was calm. But deep in space, the war had already started. The architects' giant silent machines were moving through the galaxy like ghosts. No explosions, no messages, just slow, steady destruction. Any planet that tried to resist was turned to silence. And now they were heading straight for Earth. On Luna Base, alarms blared. Soldiers ran through the halls. Engineers worked at full speed, trying to boost the signal. But everyone knew a military battle against the architects was useless. Princess, Scirexa, and Nathan Hale stood in the command room, watching the stars. "They're moving faster now," Scirexa said, voice low. "They know we're trying to stop them." Nathan didn't answer. His eyes were on the screen. One small red dot. The lead architect was closing in. "We still have time," he said. "Not much, but enough." Admiral Grant turned toward them. The signal reached thousands of systems, but not everyone believed it. Some blocked it. Others didn't understand. "That's okay," Nathan replied. "This message isn't about belief. It's about feeling." Scirexa stepped forward. "The more people who feel it, truly feel the melody, the weaker the architects become. But it has to be real, not a command." choice. Grant nodded slowly. Then we'll give them the chance. The princess and the pilot walked to a private chamber inside Luna Base, the Harmony Room. It was built as a meeting space for peace talks. But today it would hold something far more important. In the center stood the music box, the same one Nathan had given Saraxa. But now, after their journey through the echo field, it had changed. When opened, the box didn't just play a tune, it projected memories. Saraxa placed the box on a platform. Lights around the room glowed. A circle of translators and engineers worked quickly. Linking the music box to every broadcasting tower available, Nathan stood beside her. "This is it," he whispered. "No weapons, no armies. Just a song." Saraxa looked at him, her eyes shining, a gift of the heart. The signal went out. Across the galaxy, people stopped what they were doing. A mother on a mining planet paused while feeding her child. A pilot drifting near a black hole leaned back and closed his eyes. A merchant on a floating city slowed his walk as soft music reached his ears. They saw visions not made up, but drawn from their own hearts. Childhood memories, lost loves, quiet moments, forgotten dreams. And then they heard a voice. Sarax's, "You are not alone. We are different, yes, but we are all alive. We feel joy, we feel pain, and that is what makes us worthy of the stars." Another voice followed. Nathan's. "The architects were made to destroy emotions. But now we stand as proof that emotions make us strong, not weak. Let this song remind you that silence is not peace, it's just emptiness." But not everyone listened. On the shadow moon, the silent wing council grew restless. "The infection spreads," said one. "We must act now," said another. The voice of order raised a hand. "It is too late. What song has already weakened our link to the architects? Look, it's on their screens." The lead architect's energy signature flickered. It was slowing down. For the first time in its existence, it hesitated. Back on Luna Base, the music played on. Suddenly, the energy levels in the room surged. The music box glowed brighter then. Without warning, it burst open, not in fire, but in light. A glowing figure stepped out, made of memory, music, and emotion. It was the last first echo. The being hovered above them, its voice calm and ancient. "You have awakened me with your bond, with your gift, with your courage." Everyone in the room stood still. Saraxa asked, "Are you real?" "I am what remains of the creators. A song left behind. I cannot fight, but I can guide." Nathan stepped forward. "Then help us stop them." The being nodded. "Only one thing can silence the architects, a melody that reaches even them. One final gift, but to play it. One of you must sacrifice something precious." Nathan looked at Saraxa. "What does that mean?" The first echo turned to Saraxa. "You carry the emotion of royalty, of history, of a world told never to feel. You give that up, even for a moment, the music will gain power." Saraxa looked down. "I will do it," she whispered. Nathan's voice shook. "You don't have to, I do," she said. "For you, for them, for all of us." The moment she placed her hand on the glowing platform, the melody changed. It grew louder, fuller, more alive. And then, the architects arrived, the lead machine. Taller than any building, floated just above Luna Base. Its body glowed with cold blue energy. Its eyes searched for weakness. The humans aimed weapons, but Saraxa raised a hand. "No," she said. "Let the music speak first." The melody reached the architect, and for the first time since its creation, it stopped moving. Images flashed. Across its glowing body, memories, songs, children laughing, people hugging. Its light dimmed, and then it sang a low hum, broken, strange. But it was music. The other architects arrived behind it, but they did not destroy. They waited. The first echo spoke. "The melody has reached them. You've changed the future." Then the glowing being faded into the stars. 1 week later, the architects vanished. They didn't speak, didn't send messages. They simply turned and left, returning to the dark edges of space, where no one dared to follow. The galaxy was quiet again, but not silent. The music had stayed, on every planet, station, and ship. People remembered what they heard. Some forgot it with time, but most didn't, and they passed it on. Nathan stood on a hill near Earth's capital, watching the sunrise. Beside him, Sarixa wore a simple cloak, no crown, no guards. They were just people now. You gave up your royal powers, he said. Are you okay with that? She smiled. I didn't give them up forever, just long enough to play the right note. He laughed. Where will you go next? Nathan asked. She turned. To him, wherever the song is needed. And me? She looked into his eyes. Wherever you want. Just don't forget the gift you gave me. He touched the old music box in his pocket. Still working? Still singing? Never, he said, and together they walked into the morning light. Not as a soldier and a princess, but as two hearts that had changed the galaxy with a simple gift. A melody, a memory, a choice.